Hi, I thought I would look at trying to up my game a little bit in terms of the vlogging quality that I've been producing recently. Most of the walkabout videos I've done have been captured, the talking heads part of it have been captured using a Yeelight action cam. So it produces sort of, reasonable-ish quality footage, I guess, for an action cam. But I thought if I could use another camera, such as for this test I used an X-T20, Fuji X-T20. I thought if I can use a better camera, potentially it will result in better quality output, and I'll have less kit to take around with me. Often that's not such a problem because the action cam's really small, but if I'm out cycling, then I try and reduce the amount of equipment I'm carrying to an absolute minimum, just because it's harder work carrying stuff on your back. So this little video clip I put together, these video clips I put together were from a cycling trip over to Axpond, and I'd gone to actually look at and photograph the rhododendrons, which are usually very good there. However, when I got there, the rhododendrons are not in flower. They seem to be everywhere else, but not at Axpond. But the dragonflies were out in reasonable abundance. So I've used the Fuji X-T20 with the 50 to 230 lens to try and capture some dragonfly pictures. Now, this turned out to be a lot more difficult than I was expecting. And I think the Olympus EM1 with the 100 to 400 lens on it would have been a better option. But, I had the Fuji with me, so I did end up resorting to manual focus in the end, because the autofocus wasn't quick enough to react, I don't think. But anyway, see what you think from a vlogging perspective, and I think the first part of the video is going to be a bit more of it will show up the experimental nature of this whole thing. And also I've included some of the pictures of the dragonfly, so see what you make of it. Test vlog with the Fuji X-T20 and the 15 to 45, just to see whether or not it is vloggable. I'll grab a quick walk around as well, just to see how we get on. It's not ideal holding the camera like this, but we'll see how stable it is. There's a lovely setting here, very peaceful, but it has been breezy while I've been just setting this up. But it's a lovely background, I have to say. Just such a peaceful place to come and do some photography. Often come here for the insects, because along the edge of the banks over here, places like this down here, if I just get a little bit closer. Previously there has been some, and there are some dragonflies here again today. Not sure whether we can, this lens isn't great for doing this sort of thing, to be honest, but and I can't get it to focus at all. There are some dragonflies out there, you can probably just see them flitting about. Might put the big lens on and see if we can actually photograph some of those. They are beautiful. This thing doesn't always seem to want to focus particularly well, so we'll see how that does. And I'll put the bigger lens on. Oh, the wind's back. I'll put the bigger lens on and we'll see if there's anything at all that we can photograph in terms of dragonflies. I would bring the Olympus out here, to be honest, which would be ideal. So we'll perhaps do that next time we come over here. Hopefully it won't be so breezy. It's really nice on a still day out here. Let's see how we get on. You've been sat down here on the bank for a while, photographing the dragonfly, with the Fuji X-T20 and the 50-230 telephoto. To be honest, it really feels like hard work. I've given up on the autofocus for the moment. It's just not fast enough. I think the Olympus EM1 would have knocked it into a cocked hat, so to speak, because that is lightning fast, and you really, for photographing dragonflies, you really need something that is super fast if you're going to use autofocus. I ended up using manual focus and just focusing on some blades of grass and reeds or whatever they are. It's just grass, I think. Some blades of grass, waiting for the dragonflies to land, and then photographing them. And if you're pre-manually focused on a strand of grass, hopefully we'll have some in focus shots. I strayed away from my usual aperture priority as well because shutter speeds are too low, so switched it into manual so that I can fix the shutter speeds using around about 500th of a second. It's a lovely bright day, so not too much of a problem. Left it on auto ISO, so it will have sorted itself out. And again, to be honest, as long as the ISO is not ridiculous with the Fujis, it's pretty acceptable. So we'll see what we get. I'm just sitting here watching these dragonflies again. They are all over the place. To be honest, I'm not sure what time of the year they're at their best, but I wasn't expecting them just yet. So this is a pleasant surprise, but as always, brought the wrong camera. Such is life. If you only have one camera, you don't worry about this sort of thing, do you? So that's a good reason not to have too much kit, I think. But I wasn't really expecting to do too much wildlife stuff today, more just some scenics. So it's a bonus to be able to come down here and watch the dragonflies. Not much for a small sort of pond, and I know this isn't a very deep pond. Just to give you a quick view around. It's not a very deep pond, it's pretty shallow, but it's nicely filled at the moment. But there's very little bird wildlife, it seems, on this particular pond. Wow. You can maybe see that, I'm not sure. Maybe not. There's something like a little water snake or something such. Just, how do I get this into focus? There was something just swam through the water with its head up, it looked like a little grass snake, just to that little bunch of reeds out there. Amazing. He's still out there. There he goes. But a beautiful day at Axe Pond. And hopefully this will prove that the Fuji is reasonable for doing a bit of vlogging on as well. See how we get on.